Good day, wonderful viewers. You're welcome to your darling station, Living Television, where we bring the world first to you. You're welcome to another wonderful edition of our program, Nigeria Today. Nigeria Today is your favorite program where we treat trending events and happenings in the country. And today I have your regular discussants, although one of us is joining us today. And from my far left, I have Honorable Tony Abanyim. Honorable Tony Abanyim is a one-time councillor in Aba North here, and also a radio presenter. Honorable Abanyim, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
I also have in my immediate left, Barrister Chukwemeka Nwogu. Barrister Chukwemeka Nwogu is a practicing lawyer and also a security consultant. Barrister, you're welcome.
Good day, viewers, and thank you, Mr. Moderator.
And your anchor man is no other person but Chinedum Adiele. Today, we are starting with something that will interest you all. The House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee to investigate the petroleum product subsidy regime from 2013 to 2021 has said it does not know the profile of 23 oil and gas companies trading in Nigeria. Let me start with you, Honorable Abanyim. Is this possible?
Well, in a country like ours, Nigeria, everything is possible. A place where accountability, is not our culture. A place where anything goes. A place where people steal what they don't need. A place where a man that his doctor has only recommended water and vegetables will be stealing billions of naira. Everything is possible here. What happens in Nigeria, I don't think happens anywhere in the world. From the local council, not even the local council, the community setting, the local council, the state, and at the center. Accountability has not been our culture, and we are not behaving, we are not, moving like we want to bring it into our system. And it's not a good one for us. Our children are fast learning very negatively. It is your little child that will come and point at the wire out there, the electric wire out there, and tell you where the energy is, so that they can use, bamboos and all that. Your son, of less than 15 years. So here, in this part of the world, everything is possible. Transparency, the so-called fight against corruption is just a media hype. At the end of the day, we are getting more corrupt than ever. So, nothing you will tell me in this country that happened negatively, that I would say it is not possible. It is possible. It is happening.
All right. Council, 23 oil and gas companies existing in this country, the House of Representatives are not aware of this. Is it also possible that the federal government is not aware of all this, of these companies?
Well, it depends on who you mean by federal government. Remember, just like my good friend, the Honorable Tony, has said, everything is possible in Nigeria. Here we have a president and we have presidency, and both of them at different times speak, and we do not know which is which. So the government as a corporate entity may not be aware, but that does not mean that government officials who occupy certain positions are not aware. That is not possible. They are definitely aware. A situation where it's only in Nigeria that snake will swallow millions of naira, python will swallow millions of naira, monkey and baboon will swallow millions of naira, and a man would steal 80 billion naira, another would steal 100 and something billion naira, much more than used to be the budget of the entire nation at a point in time. and the people stealing and swallowing the money are all part of the present administration that is fighting corruption. So the fight against corruption has not taken us anywhere. I would want to believe that the fighting of corruption also is in furtherance of things like 23, or is it 23 or 27? I don't know the figure you gave, sir.
Oh, 23.
Yes, oil wells unaccounted for, siphoning, and that is at a time that the government is borrowing money to pay salaries, and we are fighting corruption. We are borrowing money to construct railway lines to other countries, while those down south here don't need it, and we are all fighting corruption. So that is really where we have found ourselves in Nigeria, sir.
All right, that's where we found ourselves in Nigeria. The former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, said that the Christian Association of Nigeria CAN's position with the Muslim thicket is godly. He also said that it is only people who stand for justice that will make such decisions. Dogara is a chieftain of the APC. And for him to posit that the Christian Association of Nigerians' position against the Muslim thicket is godly. What does it tell the nation, Honorable?
Well, it shows that we still have men of good conscience in our country. It shows that people can still, irrespective of the hunger in the land, the uncertainty hanging in the air, death threats everywhere. You're not sure of living the next minute. If people like Dogara can, boldly come out to condemn the actions of his party, means there is still hope for this country, because he came from the part of the country where insecurity is now the order of the day. I don't know the last time he went to his village. So if an order is given to withdraw all the policemen around him, you know what it means. But irrespective of that, he stood his ground and said it as it is. It shows that every other person should speak up. But thank God people are speaking up this time. Everybody, judges, even the man who was the former secretary to the federal government, the man Babacha, who spent 200, irrespective of his case being in the EFCC, he wasn't afraid if he would be jailed. No. The man who spent 200 million naira to cut grass, 220 million to cut grass. Probably the stadium is as large as the whole country. Such an allegation or charge hanging on his leg. He came out boldly to condemn the actions of his party. What it means, what APC has done means they don't see nobody. They are not afraid of anybody. They feel they can do anything and go away with it. Since 2015 they came, they've been doing everything and going away with it. And they feel that this one is just a little fry. That they can push ahead without the vote of Christians. Trying to bring back what happened during the cowboy era, during the military regime, when everybody was in a hurry to chase the military away, and we can stomach anything. They brought Babagana King Iban Abiola, and all of us didn't see it from the religious angle. All we wanted was for the military to leave us and go. And they want to bring it into a system that has lasted for over 20 years. It's no longer an asset. Had it been such thing was done in 1999, we would have said, okay, it's also in that quest to push away this cowboy, stuff. But here, we've been in democracy for over 20 years, and somebody is trying to experiment what happened in the analog age, and now we're in the ICT world. So, Dogara, I want more people, to start talking from every corner of this country, irrespective of your political affiliation. Good number of Muslims are also condemning such act, because it's a matter of injustice, on everybody. So Dogara's position is welcome development.
All right. One thing more people to talk about it, Council. Do you think that they are saying, or what they have said, or even the statement credited to Dogara, will change anything?
I don't expect anything to change. APC, they are insensitive and incorrigible. They have, over the years, since 2015, demonstrated that they are insensitive to the plight of people. They are incorrigible. They do not listen. They are ezonyawalam. That is what they are. The only thing is that sometimes it tells on them. They reap the consequences of their obstinacy and obduracy. That is it. So it wouldn't change their stand. I don't see them changing anything. The only thing that will change, however, is that Nigerians will demonstrate that it will not be business as usual, and we are not going to tolerate this nonsense. That is what the only thing that will change. Like Honorable Tony said, yeah, maybe then we experimented with it. We were in a hurry for people to, the soldiers
the military
to go.
To leave.
Yes, and we voted Muslim. That was then. But remember that despite that voting, God didn't allow them to take the office. They won the election, they never entered it for one day. Who knows whether that was God's own way of God's own way of showing that he didn't support such a ticket, Muslim ticket in Nigeria, irrespective of who was involved. God demonstrated his own anger against it and demonstrated that he wasn't in support. So right now, the Abiola era has no place in the present day democracy and disposition. We didn't have this type of killings. We didn't have this type of corruption. We didn't have this type of, like I had said several times on this program, the fault lines of ethnicity and religion. The country has been divided along them. We've never had it this bad until the present Oga Chief Driver took over the steering wheel of this vehicle called Nigeria.
All right. Today, the Nigerian Governors Forum has called for the review of the National Water Resources Bill. And then their argument is that the states involved should be accommodated, or the bill should be cancelled. Barrister, let me start with you, because as a lawyer, you know what the Water Resources Bill is. And for the Governors Forum to sit together and say, no, we are not going to take it now that they have revisited that bill, and that they are not going to take it, it's going to involve all the states must be involved. And since we know that the governors are the chief security of their various states, what is your take on this?
Well, first, what do we understand by the Water Resources Bill? A situation where every natural water is now concentrated under the administration of the federal government, one government, irrespective of where you find the water, so long as it is natural, including creeks, rivers, ponds, so long as it is natural water, automatically that you no longer have control over it. And by extension, if it is natural water, also the borehole. Also the borehole. That means one day they will wake up and make a policy that, yes, we cannot give you water. You can't even drill your own borehole. You will wait until we give you water to drink. Now imagine such. As far as I'm concerned, that bill should be thrown away. Everything about that bill, and by everything I mean absolutely that bill is laden with mischief and wickedness. There is nothing good I am seeing about that bill in Nigeria of today. Everything about it should be jettisoned. Recall that the previous National Assembly was faced with a similar, with the same bill. They saw the mischief intended by the federal government, and not just by the federal government. Particular ethnic group controlling the federal government, such that what they have failed to get through the back door, through the front door, control of land, they are now getting through the back door. And so they said, we've seen the danger, let it go. I am not sure that the governors have been well advised. If the governors are well advised, they would insist that the bill should go, it should be thrown away in its entirety. It is brought with malice, aforethought, ab initio. It's brought with mischief intended and even being perpetrated as it is going along. That bill should be dead on arrival. It should be DOA. It should be dead on arrival.
Okay, Prince Tony, don't you think the governors asking that they need to be accommodated in this bill, that is also making a provision for this thing, for just like the barrister said, for this mischief to go ahead, because how they are going to manipulate it, nobody can foretell that.
Well, just like Barrister Chukwemeka said, to the best of my knowledge, the oligarchy, people put it that way, the so-called ruling class, those who were born to rule, they want to gag us from every angle. Look at the Land Use Act, a situation where you don't even own your own father's house. Government can come to and take it over. That's exactly what they want to do again. The only target, because they've gone to Lake Chad and pumping in billions of naira to, discover oil in Lake Chad, and
God denied them that.
So they want to make sure that the southern area where there is water everywhere, and most largely the crude oil thing, irrespective of what the Western world is doing about energizing the cars, energizing the aircraft and all that, crude oil is still needed. So what they're trying to do is to make sure they gag and keep everything under their control. You ask yourself, a man who doesn't have even what the other hand, what do they call it? The hand pump borehole in his backyard.
You call it Hainia pump.
Yes, Hainia pump. Will now be the water resources minister. You can imagine that kind of a thing. So that's it. They just want to take over everything. So the action of the governors, the demand of the governors, we're in a democracy. It may not be possible to throw it away. Rather, what they can do is to think out, let there be a law that will make our waterways safe. Clean up the waterways, those areas that that have been polluted by the oil exploitation and all that. Think about how to clean up those areas. That's what they should do, than to try to make a law that will keep it in control of one particular ethnic group or one particular kind of people. So if they can think about along that line, I think it will be reasonable than talking about taking control of it, putting up a law that will favor a section of the country. That is what has been the problem here, where one person will like to take control of the entire thing. Others will be, an apprentice. Others will be a follow kind of citizens. We are not stakeholders in any form or manner. Talk about employment, talk about appointment in government, going to the civil service, they are everywhere. The police and the army, they are everywhere. So what else is remaining for the Southerners? They want to take over everything. So throwing it away, I'm not really comfortable with that completely, throwing it away. What they can do is to revisit it, amend it in such a way where first and first, how do we reclaim these waters? How do we make these waters safe? Go to the riverine area, the Ogoni area. My mother is from the south area. Go there. The farmlands and water areas is nothing to write home about. You can't farm in River State any longer. You can't go for fishing any longer. If you buy any, the health effect of it is that when these fishes are brought out of the river, it will get down here. At the end of the day, what are you consuming? Poison. So that is the area they should look at first of all.
Okay, Council, you said I think one of the best things is to throw it away.
That's what I said. Let me explain.
Okay.
You see that we are complaining. One major complaint we have about the Constitution is that the exclusive legislative list under the federal government is containing too many items, and we are talking of unbundling it, removing a lot of things from it, and then you want to add to it. That's why I say you throw it away. Allow the states to make their own laws regarding the use of their water. It shouldn't be a federal matter. Water, river, pond, Wangele, and all whatnot.
Including the water side.
Oh, water side. Is that the problem of Nigeria? Is that what the federal government would be bothering itself to legislate about? That is wickedness. I keep on saying it's wickedness. Allow the states to make their own laws and regulate the use of their water. It is not okay. Take for example quarrying of any quarryable material from sand to rock is in the exclusive legislative list. The states have no power over it. If somebody is digging up sand somewhere, you want to stop him, and he says it is the federal government that gave me approval to. That's the end of the matter. You've taken solid, you've taken the minerals inside. You also want to take the only thing remaining, which is water. And the next thing they are going to legislate on will be air. Before you breathe, you will come to
a license.
Yes, you obtain a federal license, and they will allocate 1 tank for you or something. Before it finishes, you go back to Abuja. Of course, everybody will have to queue up in Abuja to buy their tanks of air to breathe. You've taken solid, you've taken everything inside the earth, you've taken the earth. The only thing remaining is water. Allow the states to have that one. Let them not amend anything. Let them throw everything. The exclusive legislative list has too much already. It has too much already.
All right. You heard it. I think that is the way it should be. When we talk about water, you know, water is synonymous, you know, with life. And then how can it be controlled from above? God, who gave it to individual communities and states, I'm sure that is not a mistake. All right, while we are digesting that, a human rights activist, a lawyer, was sentenced in Akwa Ibom, for what the judge, by the justice of that state, the chief judge of the state, Justice Akaite Obod, and what he called confrontational and contemptuous behavior in his court, and he sentenced him 1 month. You are a lawyer, and I think the best jurisdiction, or the jurisdiction of the lawyer, is within the court. What is your take on that? Can a lawyer who knows the law fall victim to it?
Every person who knows the law can fall victim, and those who don't know the law can also fall victim. Within the presence of a particular court, the presiding judicial officer remains in control of proceedings and activities in that place. As a trained lawyer, I'm aware that when a lawyer disagrees with a judge, the law itself has provided the way and manner you will challenge that particular decision or action of the judge. You can bring an application for a review depending on the level of court. You can also go on appeal. Now, if what I read about what led to it is true, the said colleague came to the court with some press people, and the judge, yes, the press, they must have their right to cover court proceedings. But you don't just walk up, especially in the present day Nigeria, and say, I'm a pressman. That's not the way it functions. It's not the way it goes. When you get to the court as a pressman, you go to the registrar of that court, identify yourself, and state your mission. It is now the registrar that will clear you and even give you access to sit in a particular place. You have what you call a press gallery. In every court is there, where you will be seated comfortably. You will be able to observe proceedings. They will also tell you the do's and the don'ts in the court. You don't just walk in because freedom of press and then you do anything. That's not the way it goes. And so when the judge noticed it, the judge, of course, rightly, in my own view, said, no, this is not the way to go about it. Because it's also the registrar that would have informed the judge. She would know that pressmen are in the court. Nobody will stop them from doing their job, but the right thing has to be done. And then she said, let them be excused. At that point in time, it was for the lawyer to tell the press people, clear, go back to the registrar, try to sort these things out, and then come back. But he didn't do that. He now turned around and saw 2 police officers in the court. And he now said that he wasn't comfortable with the policemen in the court, and that the judge should order the policemen to leave. By then, I think the judge had gotten it up to here, because don't mind how I narrated it. Some of my colleagues, sometimes they are attached to maybe their CV, human rights lawyers, human rights lawyer. Indeed, every lawyer is a human rights lawyer. Every lawyer is a criminal law lawyer. Every lawyer is a constitutional law lawyer. So, in trying to impress with the gra-gra, you don't do that in the court. You don't stay in the court to do that gra-gra. No. No matter your level. So, the lawyer forgot under that heat that the court has attached to it what you call court duty policemen who are there to maintain law and order. They are also there for the security and safety of everybody, both the judge and the lawyers. And I find it preposterous and embarrassing for the lawyer to have argued that he couldn't do his matter well, that he was feeling uncomfortable because policemen were in there. If I go to court to do a matter, you have 1 million policemen there, I would rather feel very, very comfortable and confident that there is security. So he just wanted to, I think he was looking for trouble, and somehow he got the trouble. That's my own conclusion.
Okay.
I wasn't there when it happened, but from what he himself narrated, we've had only one version, his own version. We've not heard from the court officials. Yes, I think he was ready for some confrontation and maybe went to the wrong court.
Before we go on break, I will come back to you because our viewers need to know what is contempt of court, and at what point will one be charged against that?
Contempt of court is any action or inaction that brings the court to ridicule, to disrepute, and to odium. Any action or inaction, including speech, noise making,
okay,
and so on. Anything the judge says is contempt.
Becomes a contempt.
At that point in time, you will at least have to clear that particular scenario. It doesn't mean that it is absolute, because on appeal, certain conducts have also been held not to be contempt. But remember that once that action or inaction or speech, utterance, the court comes to a conclusion that you are ridiculing me or you are trying to ridicule me, it is contempt at that point in time. If a court makes an order and you are there shouting at the face of the court that I will not obey this order.
Okay, Honorable Tony, before we go on break, what is your take on this? A lawyer charged for contempt.
The lawyer has answered you. I'm not the lawyer. So let's move on.
All right, wonderful viewers. Just stay tuned. We'll be going on a short break and we'll be back in a jiffy. Don't go away and don't touch the dial. I am glad to know that you are still there watching Living TV, where we bring the world first to you. We're still on our program, Nigeria Today, and there are wonderful discussions from my far left, Honorable Tony Abanyim and Barrister Chukwemeka Nwoko. We are all here today. All right now, worried by the worsening security situation in the country, opposition in the Senate has threatened to commence an impeachment proceeding against Mr. President. And he has been given 6 months to address the country, 6 weeks, sorry, to address the country's security challenges or face impeachment. Honorable Abanyim, do you think the Senate, do you think they are doing this, it is early now, the time they are doing this, or is it because Abuja is affected?
Well, this call is not coming, it's not a first time call. Let me start from what the APC government promised us that made Nigerians vote for them. Buhari told us that he's coming here, President Buhari told us that he's coming here to effect a total change, to change the narratives, to get things work. $1 per 1 naira. that kerosene will go down to 40 naira per liter. That petrol, pump price of petrol will go down to 50 naira or thereabouts. He's going to fight corruption. That we just give him 3 months to fight Boko Haram to a standstill. Since then, we've been getting all kinds of grammar from his lieutenants, talking about
the presidency,
the presidency and the president and the information ministers, Lai Mohammed of this world, the Femi Adesina of this world, Garba Lawal, all of them. All kinds of grammar. Boko Haram has been technically defeated, has been decimated. At the end of the day, it is now at the doorstep of at the end of the day, for the very first time in the history of the world since I was born, I've not heard that a governor's convoy, that was attacked by anybody. The very first time, presidential convoy was attacked in Nigeria. For the very first time, the president of Nigeria cannot get back to his ancestral home safely if President Buhari is going to his Daura village in Daura, Katsina State. The entire soldiers within that region will be deployed to Daura. The entire policemen within that region will be deployed to Daura. So who are we deceiving? What I'm saying is that 6 weeks is too. How long does he have to stay? Just less than 10 months. 10 months today. It was 10 months one day. 10 months from today. That will be the end of his administration. They should give him 2 weeks, and for the first time, let that impeachment procedure commence, and let heaven fall. What is wrong in impeaching Buhari? What is wrong in telling somebody who is not doing well to sit up? That's not wrong about it. It's not that we've reduced ourselves to the country is divided along ethnic and religious lines. If not, what is wrong in asking somebody who is holding our common patrimony, okay, you are not doing well, why can't you adjust? And some people are cashing in on it, probably trying to be good party men. Everything here is politicized, including security. That should be everybody's business. If your mother is the inspector general and she's not doing well, tell her, Mama, you're not doing well. And because this man is from your part of the world, of the country, he is from the same faith with you, worships in the same temple with you, is a Muslim like you, everything he does is good. That is what has taken us to where we are today, where nothing works any longer in the country. So the call for the impeachment of Buhari is apt, is coming at the right time. 6 weeks is too long a time. I don't see anything wrong in doing that. I want to tell you that APC members who are there who couldn't talk because they want to be good party men, they are all interested in that impeachment call. If it is thrown open on the floor of the Senate and House of Reps, I want to tell you Buhari will go the next minute.
All right, Council. It is also on record that the president of Senate even refused calling up this matter for discussion for whatever reason, because he's an APC person. Is that proper?
That is why the ruling party tries to ensure that the people who are presiding over the affairs of the legislative houses are loyal. Okay. So easy to protect themselves. But when his colleagues now threaten to march on him by impeaching him, the Senate president had no choice than to allow that to be taken. You see, he who rides a tiger, it's a Chinese proverb, he who rides a tiger always ends up in the stomach of the tiger. A madman is busy collecting missiles, wooden missiles, and throwing at people, and you're collecting and keeping for him and clapping for him. Madman is throwing stones at people. When those people have all retreated to a safe distance that he can no longer reach them, what happens?
You become the target.
He turns on you. That is exactly what has happened. See the way we are going down, the way some failed nations have gone. These guys have overrun virtually all the the entire northern states. And they are now marching on our national capital, the Federal Capital Territory. That is where we are at the moment, because by the time they capture it, that's the end of the administration. That is the end of the administration. Imagine the guards brigade, the soldiers there receive extra training. They are the elite in the army because their job is just one major mandate. They can do that, but one major mandate: protection of the president. Now, intelligence was gotten, not just intelligence, the terrorists have become so brazen about it. They now send you advance notice. They tell you when they are coming so that you prepare. And at that time, exactly, they will come. They gave 2 weeks notice that they were coming. So the soldiers from the Guards Brigade, guarding Mr. President, were drafted to law school, Nigerian Law School in Buhari. And by the time they stayed there, from what is on the internet, they stayed for about 2 weeks. The guys actually showed up. And then the soldiers thought it was, okay, let's go do some show of force. And they went. One of them was giving the narrative that they wanted to clear the doubt of the terrorists. The soldiers got there and the terrorists cleared their doubt. That is what we are now having in Nigeria of today, where hoodlums, criminals, miscreants, people who wouldn't stand up to soldiers are now clearing the doubts of soldiers. And the soldiers had to, fall back and ask for reinforcement. And in the process, some of them, including about 2 senior officers, lost their lives. And yet, those whose duty it is to inform us properly and correctly, initially we are trying to keep it under wraps. You see, when you start hiding the truth, you leave the people with no choice than to manufacture their own information. That's it. When they now saw what was awash on the internet, they now came out to say, okay, finally, we were looking for some of our soldiers. We don't know where they were. Finally, okay, they are dead. And what did the Oga Chief driver do? The people guarding him have just been killed like that. He entered a plane and moved to Liberia to go and lecture Liberians on security. This can only take place in a place like Nigeria. And it is moving and going, moving and going. The senators and members of the National Assembly have suddenly come to a realization that Abuja is not as impregnable as they had always imagined. That was why they did what they did. They are left with no choice because it is now either you fight back or you'll be killed. The only way they can now fight back is to threaten Oga Chief Driver. And that is why this morning Oga Chief Driver has convened security meeting. They said it's either the 3rd or the 4th in 1 month, calling all the service chiefs. For God's sake, if these people, anybody you put in a position cannot deliver, look for a better alternative. You cannot continue cooking soup with a goosey and expecting that you will eat okra. It cannot work.
All right, Honorable, looking at what happened at that Kuje Correctional Center in Abuja, 24 hours before the hit, the security operatives were withdrawn. And what has Nigeria done about that? If we liken it to what is happening recently, does it mean there is a connivance between the military and these Boko Harams?
It is a common knowledge, my moderator, that the insecurity thing has become a cash cow. It is now a business, a very booming one. You can imagine a situation where, if what we see in the other countries, in Tanzania, a few years, I think about 2 years ago, there was a building collapse in Tanzania. The housing minister resigned. He's not aware of it, he's not part of it, he didn't sign any document or warranting the building, the erection of that building. Collapsed and people died, and he resigned. However, a jailbreak that left a lot of things damaged, inmates ran away, and all that. The Comptroller General of Immigration and Prisons is still in his office. The Minister for Interior Affairs, Aribeshola, was in America, eating at the buffet,
taking ice cream. And
somebody captured him and he wanted to rob. I thought that place is Ocean State, local village where you can harass people anyhow. And they gave it to him. So the security thing has become a booming business. A situation where somebody was saying the other day on one of the national TV that soldiers that were abducted at Kaduna, the NDA abduction that happened about 2 years ago or something.
Yeah.
That when the guy, after paying the ransom, they were released. They came out and we narrating their ordeals. That by the time they were getting that so-called camp, they were also getting, the noise of things that happens at the parade ground, things that happens within the NDA environment.
Meaning they were not far from there.
That is the thing. A situation where on a Friday, that in the military barracks, the gate will be thrown open for people to come in for a Jumat service. In all the military formations in Nigeria, call it Kaduna, call it Enugu, call it Rivers State. It happens in every military formation in this country on Friday. Everybody watches, as far as you are a Muslim, you walk in and have 10 prayers with them, no matter who you are, as far as you are coming in for the Jumat prayers. But on a Sunday, nobody does that for the Christians. You can imagine that. So what are we saying? We are saying that the country has completely, security-wise, collapsed. A situation where a governor takes over $1 billion for security votes. Are we in a civil war? Does it happen anywhere in the world? Unaccounted for. First charge. By 17th of every month, they will go for FAC, and the next morning, the governor will get his alert, and that money is not to receive it, it's not retired. No state governor in Nigeria takes less than $1 billion, and yet we are where we are. Look at what happened in Umundochi, where a bishop was abducted. Within that zone, abducted a bishop and he paid 100 million naira. And I'm saying, who was giving this money? Those that were abducted in the Kaduna rail, abduction, they are paying monies in hundreds of millions. Who collects this money? And somebody calls himself Sheikh Gumi, who is now the intermediary between the go between the bandits and the government. And nobody traces him to say, okay, let us use intel to know where this money is going, where this money is dropped.
He goes with security.
You can imagine that.
He goes with security.
So the thing is that is why the thing is increasing by the day. It's becoming a business for young men every day. Nobody is tracking those that are doing it. So the best thing is to go in. Anything you will do within a space of 3-4 days, you get 100 million naira. Which bank, which businessman gets that kind of return in this country? It's a booming business, and more people are eager to go in because nothing has been done against those that have been in it in the last 10 years. All right. All young men are ready to go in it. I don't know. We may even think about changing our businesses into that. Because yes, it is lucrative. It's not for age. I can't run any longer. My stomach is protruding by the day.
All right, thank you, Council. Is it when we talk about making an attempt to impeach the president, since the inception of this country, nobody has been impeached. It looks as if this is the only time there is a serious move. I want to ask, is it possible for Mr. President to be impeached?
Not only is it possible, because of what is already happening, it is now easy in that people of both the two major religious faiths, they are victims, they've suffered it. It has caught the terrorism, the violence, the banditry and everything, the killings have now cut across tribe, ethnic group, religion, and so on and so forth. Coupled also with the misfortune of the economy, whereby, as at yesterday, dollar was exchanging for 710 naira. And this was an exchange rate of under 200 when they came in. They met it at under 200. He had promised $1 to 1 naira. We are not talking about that one. At least, rather than like one policewoman that they whisked, somebody drove away, was shouting, help me, help me. If they carry me go where I don't know. This one has now carried us to, this was never what we bargained, has carried us into the bush. Return us to where you got us from. That is the least we can get.
All right,
sorry, sir. You talked about the Kuje. Yes. Yeah. There's a report credited to a statement credited to the Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps. They did a little inquiry into what happened. And he said that, according to the DSS, that they gave Oga Chief Driver 44 intelligence reports, not just information, intelligence reports before this thing happened. Several days or weeks or months before it happened, that it was going to happen. And look at, like my good friend and brother Tony said, Honorable Tony, till today, leave the people, Sati, as we call him, nobody will resign. But why wouldn't Oga fire somebody? People are still in their position. Fire somebody if you don't have any knowledge of it. Let some heads, that's what they do in other clients. Let some heads roll. Fire somebody, relieve people of their responsibility, so that the next person coming up will know that if he doesn't do well, he will leave. But no, it is business as usual. We deal with statistics every day. People died, people were killed. No, it's not 20, it's only 19. It's not 25, it's only 24. Is that what we are going to continue getting?
All right, before we quit, or before we call it a day today, Honorable Tony, you talked about the change you were promised. I don't think we are having a good change. There is a change, yes. Because as at the time before this administration,
I'm happy the way he's looking. Tony Sati is looking at you.
Yes, before they came in, a bag of rice was 7,500 naira. Today it's about 36,000 naira, and the dollar, the exchange rate was between 185 to $1. And today the level of insecurity in Nigeria keeps increasing and rising. And then you said there has been no change since they come in. Don't you think we're having a change? The only problem is that we never asked the type of change he was coming with.
Yes, we didn't ask a question. Actually, those that know the man very well, when he came, the first time he came, talking about PMD in 1983, just very little here in Aba. And all of a sudden, those that were here during the war, the food they ate, those kwashiorkor kind of, nutrition.
Yeah, we were there, yeah.
Yes, we were there. So, those cornmeal and all kinds of things.
Agbado. People were eating cassava and agbado.
So the man, we forgot in a hurry. That was why we couldn't forgive Jonathan. We couldn't give him a second chance. And then we voted him. And he came, and look at where we are. It's quite unfortunate. But I know that what has happened in the last 7 years to 8 will graduate us into maturity. If we have our heads still intact. I know by February 18th, Nigerians will definitely speak. And if we fail to speak positively this time, because we have to be naming names, we have to be, analyzing things we are doing, because 2014 we are told about change, and look at the kind of change we got. So if we're going to speak in 2023, we have to analyze it, we have to make it open. What are we going to speak? What are we going to tell our leaders?
All right.
Is it time for us to sit up and do the right thing? Is it time for us to give our children hope? So 2023, February 18th is coming, so let us rise up and speak positively into the future.
Just 1 minute before we go, naira crashes to 710 naira to a dollar, what is the hope of Nigerians, Barrister?
With so much dollar spent during the primaries, I don't want to sound like a doomsday prophet or prophet of doom, but in all honesty, I do not see anything good coming out of this present administration. The only thing is that we should all pray that the level of violence and insecurity will not lead to the elections being either suspended or postponed or whatever. I pray the elections would hold and that Nigerians, God will give us the grace to speak properly this time. But for this present administration, nothing good can come out of this present administration. We just have to somehow, like Sir Tony said, if we still have
our heads intact.
Yes, let's just pray to God that we will survive till the elections, and then May 29 next year we will breathe a sigh of relief.
All right, Honorable Tony, do you think we still have hope in this country?
Well, we are still living, and some people are speaking hope over 2023, and some people are talking about the ambition. So it's a matter of standing between the deep blue sea and the river. So, and the devil, where are we more comfortable with? To the best of my knowledge, the present administration is clueless. Somebody was telling us that the man that lost the election in his unit, Femi Adesina, the presidential spokesman, he said, once it's a long period of time to achieve this and that and all that. 7 years gone, and they couldn't do anything. And the man you are talking about, who is going to achieve something, who is going to take us, solve it all, solve our soup problem, take care of the insecurity, bring everything to normalcy in 10 months. He's telling us that if it is possible, he will just fast forward the clock and leave. He has achieved that ambition. That's why he came here. He has achieved it. He didn't come here to leave a legacy, to set a good administrative precedent. He has achieved his ambition and is good to go. Nothing will come out of it. What you have to do is to take our destinies in our own hands by 18th of February 2023. That is the answer. But talking about in 10 months' time, no, dollar will get to 1,000 and more.
If not 2,000. So at this rate of daily increase,
that's it, to get there. That's it. So taking our destiny in our own hands, deciding on what we want for ourselves and our future and our children. 18th of February, everybody should prepare. It's not prayer. Good, pray, but it's more of a practical thing.
We were just talking about the government and what they have failed to do. Barrister, just in 30 seconds, do you think that God has no role in all this?
I have always said it here, faith without works is dead. God has his own role to play. God is a team player. He leaves certain aspects to man to do. God will not come down and cast vote. It is not possible. God will not register and get his PVC. It is not possible. Those aspects are for man. And then moving the hearts and will of people to do the right, that is for God. Let us, when people try to rig, that is when the God factor can now come in and frustrate them. But if you do not cast your vote, those registered voters that or accredited voters that didn't vote, or registered voters that didn't come out to be accredited and to vote, those are the figures that people who want to rig manipulate. If everybody who has registered comes out to vote, there will be no rigging, there will be no manipulation. Let's do what we are supposed to do as human beings. God knows his own. He knows what to do. He will do it.
God knows what to do, and he will play his own part. But we as human beings should play our own part. And that is why we are coming to the end of today's program. Remember, this is still your darling station, the Living TV. And also remember, I told us that we have Living TV Club that will be on every Saturday. Our viewers out there, you can always come around the Living Television office at number 1 Georgia Street, opposite Eziama Police Station, to make inquiries concerning this. You need to be part of it. The Living TV Club is meant for men and women, families to come around, and each day it holds, we will have we'll have resource persons that will help motivate. We have stand-up comedians for your entertainment. Don't miss it. Right on today's Nigeria Today, we've come to the end of the day. From my far left is Honorable Tony Abanyam. Honorable Tony Abanyam, thank you for coming.
I appreciate it. Thank you, viewers.
And Barrister Chukwemeka Nwogo, also a security consultant. Barrister, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, sir.
And this is Chinedu Madile. Remember, tomorrow we'll be having our issues of the moment. Just keep watching Living TV. You have no regrets. This is Chinedu Madile signing off.